today's video, we're going to expose exactly how we scaled a brand new agency to over $40,000 a month in run rate. And before I start talking, let me share with you proof, because proof tastes good, right? So first of all, you can see here on Fanbasis, it's a payment processor for you that doesn't know, it's like basically Stripe, but Fanbasis, they're more kind of compliant with service-based businesses. Stripe start basically banning a lot of these businesses. We have here about 5.8K in Fanbasis. As you see here, we have around $2,200 in WAP. And the rest, basically, we have around like $3,000 on ACH transfers, which probably make it around like 10 to 11 grand. And if you can do the math, 11 grand in revenue in 1 week will basically set us apart to about like 44K in revenue a month. This is like if we sign no clients at all, because most of the revenue that we generate from this agency wasn't recurring. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the niche, exactly the niche that we've chosen, the offer, everything else. So you can just actually, if you apply the same concept that made us 11 grand in a week, there's no reason for you to not scale your agency at least to 10, 15K a month. Because literally we start running ads for this exact offer that made us all this money last week. So now we got this out of the way. The reason you should listen to this video till the end is because I haven't just scaled this agency last week to over 40 grand run rate. I scaled multiple agencies above 50K. Here's this agency right here. We scaled Flight Digital, an agency that's been running for about 3 months right now, almost 42 grand in revenue. And all of this revenue was generated to paid ads. I scaled my own agency, Systemic Consent, to over 95K run rate at the moment. I've scaled this agency with my agency partner, Shane, and almost $60,000 in revenue. And Shane, after he started running ads, he generated almost $10,000 in 11 days. It's just from the client that he sent through paid ads. So the reason you should listen to this video till the end, because I have proof of concept in terms of paid ads, like we made it work multiple times, but most importantly, we generated revenue in records time. I don't know about how many agencies you know to scale to 10K a week or 20K a week in a matter of days, literally, right? For most agencies, it takes months or even years to get to that level. But we mastered an offer and a skill that allowed us to do this multiple times. That's why I know even if you put me in desert, just with a couple $100, a Facebook ad account, I can start launching ads in 2 days. I'll be getting my first 2-3 clients in the next couple 3 days. I know we'll make money. So right now I want to show you exactly how we scale this agency that I showed you in the beginning to almost $11,000 in revenue. So first of all, it comes to the niche. We've been working with fencing for this agency specifically. Fencing is inside the contractor niche, right? So a lot of you that know me, like we have a lot of agency partner in e-com and coaches, but like the niche that I prefer the most is contractors. But I don't work with all contractors. You got to specialize working with one ICP. ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile. It's on one contractor. So you could be working with HVAC, you can be working with plumber, but you got to choose one contractor niche, right? For the sake of this agency, as I said, we're choosing to work with a fencing niche. Now, the problem that a lot of you guys face, because I talk to a lot of agency owner on a daily basis, my agency clients, and also agency owner just getting to know, but most of them, the only problem they get is they just send tons of paid ads, right? That was an agency partner I spoke to last week, and he signed up a fencing client for $200. So right now, why do you think this guy is able to only sell fencing clients, same niche, for $200, we're able to send fencing clients for $3,000, $5,000, and even $10,000, right? And we even got clients that are able to sell websites for $24,000. Now, the reason for that is, of course, the offer, your ability to close, your social proof, everything else. But 80% of it comes down to the way you approach them first. Let me explain. You got to understand something. The local business you're reaching out to right now, because they're getting pitched at least between 10 to 20 times a day. How do I know that? Because I have a lot of local business clients. So by me having them as clients, I have admin access to their Instagram accounts. So I get to see daily how many pitches they're getting, all right? And that's not factoring how many cold emails they get, because I don't have access to that, how many cold calls they get. But if we can just round that number up, we'll be at least 20 pitches they get in a day. And you should not be surprised, because there's a lot of people trying to pitch these people, right? So 20 pitches a day, if you multiply it by a month to see how many pitches they get in a month, they're getting 600 pitches a month. Now, the second problem comes down with cold outreach is most of the time, right, once you're targeting a specific ICP, let's say you want to work with fencing or HVAC in the US, right? Those fencing and HVAC businesses that are willing to pay you, that have the financial ability to pay you, are a very small number, talking about 50, 60,000 max. If you actually like web design like me and you want to scale a web design agency past $10, $20, and $30,000 per month, then check out the offer that we have below. So basically what we do is we scale web design agencies to multiple 6 figures using one client acquisition system, one offer, one pricing, and 3 upsells And basically, we take only a small commission out of this. So that means if you don't sign any new clients, you don't pay. Simple as that. So if you want to learn more about it, check out the offer that I have below, and you can check out all the amazing testimonials from students that we helped scale their agencies past 10 grand a month. Now, if you want to scale your agency to just, let's say, 2K per month using cold outreach, 3K. Right now in 2025, all the competition, you got to send at least 1,000 messages, 1,000 first touch points a day in the beginning if you want to get some results. The problem that comes with that is once you send in that 1,000 touch points, it will literally take you 50 days to basically send the messages and send outreaches to your whole total addressable market. And then what you will do again, you will hit them up again. You're very limited by your total addressable market. Now, the third problem that comes with cold outreach, that's the biggest problem, is people view you as a low authority. Like you lose the power dynamics. Let's be real here. Put yourself in their shoes, okay? You're a contractor, you're making money, you need a website to drive your business, you need more leads, and that's the most important thing in your business, right? Would you trust a chaser, somebody that begs you over DMs? You know, it's crystal clear they have a lot of time on his hands to be able to just send you thousands of messages and he's not making enough money. Would you trust this guy with like your own website and your own marketing strategy? Or would you trust someone that would appeal as an authority? It's like, I'm seeing their ad, they're literally running ads, they're professional, they have social proofs, and I'm the one that made the decision to basically enroll and have a conversation with them. They didn't chase me at all, right? You will trust this agency owner. You'll not trust the agency owner that begs you over DMs, right? That's why this agency client that I had a conversation with, he was able to close this fencing client only for $200 because this fencing business owner, what more in his mind is like, this guy, he just probably have a lot of time in his hands. I need a website. I need it to be done cheap. So I'll just give him $200 and he'll be able to do it. If I hire a professional agency, he'll charge me a lot of money. So he's the cheapest alternative. If you just want to be the cheapest alternative up there, go ahead. Do cold outreach, continue doing it. But if you want these contractors to respect you, to understand that you can charge premium prices, then you're gonna run paid ads. Now, in order for us to run paid ads, first we start with creatives. And now that's the biggest problem a lot of people have because they just basically test one creative and they think they will basically succeed. And if this creative flopped, it's just like, hey, ads doesn't work, I just suck at it doesn't work. Right now, in order for me to get the results I'm getting with this agency, we tested 30 creatives in a week. So the more creative you have to test, the more you can guarantee the success of your ad because there is a very, very small chance that out of 30 creatives, you're not gonna have at least 3 or 4 or 5 ads that will be winners that will generate you very cheap meetings or cost per lead or whatever you're optimizing for. And now the question becomes, how do you go about these 30 creatives, right? There's a couple ways you can go about it, but if you want to go about it a smart way is, the way we're doing it is I'm filming hooks by themselves and I'm filming bodies by themselves. And by that what I mean is I would have about 25 hooks and 4 bodies. Why? Because you got to think about your ad as an entity that contains a lot of entities, and hooks are one of the most important entities when it comes to the success of your ad. So that's why I'm having 25 hooks, right? And I'm split testing those 25 hooks with 5 bodies. And if I can multiply these 25 hooks by 4 bodies, I will get 100 ads in total, 100 variations in total. And with these 100 variations, that will guarantee that I'm gonna have a lot of ads that are winners. That's how, before I launch an ad, I'm guaranteeing the success of this ad by just having multiple variations. And nobody's gonna tell you that because most of you guys, and I've seen that firsthand, you just test with 1, 2, 3 creatives and you think you suck at it. No, you're not doing enough. Of course, there's strategies that we use right now in our agency to minimize the time spent on these 25 hooks and 4 bodies, and we hire actors and all that to do this for us. But in the beginning, if you have a tight budget, you gotta do it yourself. Now, let's get this out of the way. After you get your ads, you start with $30 ad budget. Always $30 a day. Don't start with less than that. So with $30 a day, that's exactly what we started with this agency. Of course, we bumped the budget later. So with $30, you can basically split test up to 7 variations. You can split test them with $30. Right now, basically, because I have the budget, I will start with $100 because I can split test 18 to 20 variations in total. Now, what was gonna happen is out of the variations that you're gonna split test, always what's going to happen is you're going to find that 70% of the ads are going to flop, the variations are going to flop, 20 or 30% will work amazing, meaning you're going to find the average cost per meeting will be, let's say it's $100. But if you filter out all the creatives, if you filter out the cost per meeting by the creatives, you'll find that 20% of the creative, the average cost per lead by these 20% is just $20, right? Or 15, whatever. And the average cost per lead across the 80% are expensive. So what you do next is you kill the creative that are expensive. And what you'll do, literally, if you just start right away, start with lead forms, build to lead forms inside Facebook. And that's the same strategy we follow that agency that we scaled to 11 grand. Now what? Now I'm going to share with you something that you probably never heard before. I never seen anyone on YouTube sharing this, but that's very, very important. Now there's something inside Facebook, right? The lead forms of Facebook called the conditional logic. So what we tell Facebook is what? We optimize lead form, asking a couple questions. What's your revenue? Are you the decision maker? We're trying to qualify them on this lead form. So if they're not qualified, we don't have to even talk to them. We don't have to waste our time or to waste our appointment setter time. And then let's say if they're not qualified, if they're making, for us, the number one qualification would be, as a fencing business owner, you're going to be making plus $20,000 a month. If they're making anything less than $20,000 a month, we don't want to be talking to them. So they got thrown away of the lead form. They don't talk to us at all, and we don't want to talk to them. And there's two reasons for that, because I know for a fact from dealing with a lot of contractors that anyone making less than $20,000 a month, he's a tire kicker. He's not going to buy. They're not making enough money because $20,000 a month, it's in revenue, right? These contracts have a lot of overhead costs. So if he's making $20,000 a month in revenue, probably making $3, $4, $5 grand a month, right, in profit. He doesn't have any money to pay for a website, for an agency. He's going to lowball you. So we don't want to be talking to these guys. And also the advantage from it is, after we set up this conditional logic, if you know how Facebook works, Facebook will actually understand exactly who you're trying to optimize for. And after you add this conditional logic, Facebook on the top of the funnel, we start optimizing people making plus $20,000 a month. So now that we get this out of the way, let's say we get a lead. So as soon as we get a lead, that's a crucial step. And if you haven't done that correctly, if you don't have the SOPs for this correctly, you're not going to be making any money. And this is the speed to lead. So literally speed to lead is very important. After the lead submitted, we call them in the next 5 minutes. We try to qualify them, ask them all the questions, and actually see if they're right fit for the call, and just get as many basically questions from them and see if they're the decision maker, and just eliminate any objections before the call, right? And just booking the call. And after that, the job the appointment setter hasn't finished yet, because he got to call them the next day, the day of the meeting, to basically make sure they're going to show us like, hey, by the way, this is just a quick bump up. We have a meeting at this. Please make sure you show up. We send them a text, and he's basically engaging them to show up to the meeting. And these appointment setters, the way they're getting paid, we incentivize them to basically get us a high show up rate. So we pay them per show up call. So every appointment setter get paid $50 per every showed up call, even if we don't close the deal, because at the end of the day, we know how much money we're making, but that's the way we pay them. We pay them $50 per showed up call. But they got to make sure, they got to do everything possible. They follow strict SOPs. That's how we get our show up to 85, 90%. If you don't have that stage in your funnel, you get 30% show up rate. You get terrible show up rate. Now that we get this out of the way, our closer just jumping them in the call. And right now we have about like 40% closer rate. Our average deal ticket size right now is about $7K. Our average lifetime value out of each customer, because I said we have a lot of upsells, we have a lot of recurring, is from $15,000 to $30,000 a month. So literally, if we close just 10 clients a month, we know that the lifetime value from these 10 clients are $15K to $30K. So we basically literally just made $150,000 to $300,000. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you got enough value from it. And if you're doing cold outreach right now, you want to do paid ads. If you do it just by yourself, you can do it by yourself, but there is a lot of mistakes that you be doing, right? So these people right now, like Revenue Lift and all these people that I've shared with you in the beginning of the video, the reason they scaled so fast is because they eliminated the guesswork. Because no matter how much content I'm putting here on YouTube, you're always going to get knowledge, but you're going to get knowledge without context. And that's what you can't directly get results from these YouTube videos alone. Because you understand exactly how that works, but you have no context. You don't understand what happens after. You don't understand the offer. You don't understand what you should do if you basically, get this type of client. We should do if this client said this and this. There is a lot of variables that will basically make or break the success of your agency. So if you want to scale your web design agency past $30,000, $50,000 a month in record time with paid ads, check out the link that I have below, and you can see exactly with your own eyes. All the agencies will help scale above 50K. There's also some agencies that will scale above 100 grand a month. So check out all these agencies and check out exactly the blueprint they followed in order for us to scale them that level. See you soon. Cheers.